My name's Jacob Jeter, and I live here in Montgomery, Alabama, and have been for about 6 years now. I'm in law school, have been for the past year, and ended up with doing all right with grades, so they let me come back for another year. I like to play video games. Anytime I can get out in the outdoors, go shooting or hunting or anything like that, it's always a lot of fun. If I can go out and do something, I'm a happy camper. Kids always kind of look up to their parents, but when your dad was a jet pilot, that really was a pretty neat experience.
You know, he's had his little flight jacket with all, Dad's patches all over it, just like, his little Top Gun flight jacket.
I wanted to be a pilot from day one starting out. Not just a pilot, but a military fighter pilot. That was always my dream. It was an accident, things happened, but I feel like it wouldn't have happened to me unless I was strong enough to get through it and to do well with what I've been challenged with. I was 17 years old when I had my accident. It was on a Saturday morning. I remember that because I had to go take the ACT that morning. So a couple of friends had taken it with us, and we ended up going down to the beach, and we were going to go out on the boat for a little while just to hang out. And one of the girls had a volleyball out there. They were big volleyball players, and she dropped the ball in the water, and it was kind of floating away from the dock. And it was October, so it was a little bit colder, so I volunteered to go get it and kind of jumped in without thinking, and the water was just a little bit too shallow for me. It was hard coming to terms with what I thought about myself after I had my accident and how things were going to progress and how I was going to live my life. But that was something that I was able to figure out, and I felt comfortable with that. But I still had trouble around big groups of people or around people I didn't know, because I always kind of wondered how they saw me in their eyes, and that was something that made me a little bit anxious.
And then when he got up here to college, he basically said, nobody talks to me. I mean, because people, I believe, are naturally afraid of a wheelchair, and they don't know what to say to somebody that's in a wheelchair. So he said, I'll go to class and come home, and maybe I might say hi to somebody, but that's about it.
One of the great things about having an animal with you is that a dog's got a way of bringing people in and making people smile. A dog's got a way of making people not care about anything other than, just that little bit of attention or a little bit of time that you're spending right there with them. When I had Baxter out in public, people would just come up and strike up a conversation with me and talk to me about Baxter. It was something I love talking about. I love talking about people's animals. I like talking about Baxter. I like hearing about other people's dogs. And just being able to have that social interaction and being able to talk to people about that, I think made a big difference in how comfortable I felt when I was out in public.
That's what the dog does. It takes away that initial fear of, well, what am I going to say to this person in a wheelchair, other than, nice dog, and that just breaks the ice right there. And then once you break the ice, Jacob's Jacob.
I never would have imagined the impact that it's had. I never would have been able to imagine how much he can help in that area. That, okay, a canine assistance dog, you would think about it, okay, they're going to be doing physical things for you. He's going to be opening the door, turning on a light switch. But that, to me, is nothing compared to the social barriers he can break down.
Canine assistance flat turns people's lives around. There's no question about it.
When you're in the air with somebody else, it's amazing. It's a lot of fun. But there's no feeling like when you're up by yourself. That's a feeling of independence and freedom and responsibility that words can't really describe for me. It's really something that's amazing. Well, kind of the tradition was the first flight you're going to take after you get your license is you're going to take your mom flying. Whether she wants to or not, you're going to have to take her flying.
I was in the back seat, and I'll never forget watching him land the plane that day, looking over my son's shoulder who was paralyzed and thinking that he's flying me down and he's going to land this airplane. It was an unbelievable feeling of admiration for this child.
When you accomplish something like that, you really feel like, okay, I'm going to be able to do anything I set my mind to, which is kind of how I go about life right now. If I want to go to school or if I want to, whatever one I do, I think I'm going to be able to do it just because the determination. I don't want to let being in a wheelchair hold me back from anything. Up.